나는 콩지, 나는 팥입니다.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Animation Pilgrimage, the show where Tennille and I look at every single theatrically released animated film in chronological order. I'm Sean.
I'm Tennille. For some reason I thought you should say where Sean and I take a look, but that's what I say. And then when you said Tennille and I was like, huh? Oh wait, I'm Tennille.
Good job.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, today we are still in South Korea and we watched the movie Kanja and Pacha.
Yeah, I think that's how you say it.
Yes, I tried to pay attention as the movie happened, and
I did too.
it's Kanja and Pacha. More so than Kanjui and Pachui.
Yeah.
Anyways.
This is a stop-motion film made in South Korea, directed by Gang Taeyong and written by Sung Hak Chi. And this one's a little bit more troubled than the last film we just watched from South Korea.
Like, I get what they're going for. They're going for Cinderella-style story where girl and her father remarries, gets a new stepmom, and stepmom has a daughter of her own. Dad is never around. Daughter and mother constantly harass and physically beat and torture the good little girl. Also, they're ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And they're crass and they're rude. And it's a story about how
goodness prevails.
Goodness prevails.
Ends up getting...
As long as you have a fairy godmother, or in this case, a fairy god Buddha on your side, you'll be just fine, as long as you're a good person.
Mm-hmm. And by a good person, we mean, like...
You do exactly what everyone tells you to do.
And you're pretty, and you're obedient, and, like, you don't, like, whine too much about people to their face, but, yeah... It's a little messy in execution. This is very much your very typical Cinderella story, except for, like, of course, the few differences we mentioned. Of course, this takes place in South Korea, so it's an all South Korean cast. And instead of a fairy godmother, there's Buddha. And, like, the prince the girl marries is he's just like a high-ranking, high-class
dude, and
guy.
then he becomes like the governor for her
region. Right, yeah.
So she still marries into a much better family and has everything in the world she could ever desire. And then her stepsister comes and visits and drowns her in the lake.
And by the lake, I mean like a koi pond.
Yeah, a koi pond that is 3 fathoms deep, apparently. Which is a really deep pond.
Seems a bit excessive.
Yeah, it does. Also, we just killed the main character.
Mm-hmm. That was a dark turn.
And then, at the end, Buddha brings her back to life.
Yeah.
And then a tree falls on the evil stepmother and stepsister, and they die.
Uh-huh.
And that's how the movie ends.
Yeah. Overall, I think my biggest problem with this film, we'll talk about the animation and all that in just a second, but story-wise, my biggest problem with the way that this is told is that it's so mean-spirited.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they really want you to feel bad for Kanja. And by doing this, they don't make her stand out as an individual. She's just really generically nice. It's not even like in Disney Cinderella where it's like, you know, well, Cinderella has a really strong personality and she's just really doing the best she can with the situation she's in.
Mm-hmm.
Kanja's just there and she's nice and she's pretty.
She's a very passive character in her own story.
The other two villain characters are mostly angry that she's pretty and not that she's a kind and diligent person. And, like, they show her getting beat a lot, and it's just really unpleasant. And I also have to say that I don't think that this is intentional at all on part of the filmmakers, but with the way the film presents the younger stepsister, Patri?
Pacha.
Pacha. The way that she is presented feels like they're using a lot of like negative stereotypes of autism and putting them on this character, and I don't think that it is intentional, but I see it and it makes me very uncomfortable to watch like this obviously villain character be portrayed like that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just, like, again, I don't think it's intentional, but it's just uncomfortable. Because, like, and my reasonings for this is because, like, the way that this character is portrayed is, like, she's got nothing going on other than being angry, mad, and yelling all the time at, Concha. And, like, they make her drool. They make her, like, flail her arms around a lot. They make her, like, cross-eyed. It's just, like, thing after thing after thing that I'm just like, you know, I could ignore this and it could just be portrayed as, like, oh, this is a slobbish, rude, rash character. But all of these elements combine and they make her, like, very loud and laugh with a deep voice and everything. And I'm just like... this is something not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not great.
I mean, the biggest problem is that the film is sexist and, like...
Incredibly sexist.
The only thing the females characters care about is...
marrying a dude.
Marrying a dude. And so, like, they're very one-dimensional. And then so you heap on all these negative traits that can be associated with autism as well, and it's like... Alright, that sucks.
It does indeed. Also, do we want to talk about the animation and the art style and stuff?
Yeah, we need to talk about the animation.
So,
I have
stop
a theory.
motion.
Yes, this is stop motion.
Mhm.
I have a theory that this, and I couldn't back this theory up with anything because I couldn't hardly find any any information on this film. But I have a theory that this used to be a puppet show, like a traditional puppet show that people would do. Because, like, these all feel like fairly standard puppets, and they look like they've been used for quite a while.
I don't know if I can back that up completely, but I can tell you that this group of people has used similar puppets in the past to do at least one other film that we haven't been able to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that use the same style of puppets.
So I wonder if a lot of them got reused.
Yeah, so it might be that a lot of these puppets are reused from that, not necessarily from like an actual stage show or anything, but they were reused from a previous older movie, which might be a little more telling on the fact that like all of their necks look worn.
Yeah.
Like
And I
really
mean-
worn, like they've been bent too much and stuff.
It would make sense, you know, over the course of the film that, like,
That would happen.
that would happen. But also, there's just enough wear and tear on not necessarily the main characters, but like a lot of the side characters where it's like, all right, this has been used for multiple years at this point.
Absolutely.
So yeah, maybe they did short films before this too to like
Yeah.
and just reuse some of the puppets, which would be
Who knows?
whatever. I do love the attention to details whenever we watch these stop motion films. I love seeing the miniature sets they can come up with. There's a lot of crying and sweating that goes on in this film, and they actually like take the time to put that detail on the characters of like showing tears and like sweat on the characters' brows, and like that's a really good touch. However, talking about the animation, it's really uncanny and unpleasant.
Yeah, a lot of the characters will bend in unnatural ways, or just like they'll be laying down and then they're suddenly vertical. Like they just whoop, they're now standing upright. They don't bend over like a human would. They just kind of rise off of the ground and now they're standing. It's weird and awkward, and I'm not a big fan of it.
Especially since the puppets go for like human proportions and
For the most part, yeah.
yeah, it's like it's obviously stylized because they're puppets, but like it's uncanny, and they've got like basically just a few faces for each character, and then like they have like a mouth that moves around, and like this mouth moves everywhere on the face, and it's a little ugh.
Well, our neighbors just started cleaning, and I think we're done talking, so that's probably going to be it for this review.
Yeah, this is definitely one I would skip.
There are furries. They're supposed to be animals, but there are furries in this movie. It's a little weird.
Yeah, they're
Just
also
considering-
uncanny and unpleasant to look at.
But either way, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. And next time, we're going back to Russia because we
Hooray!
have another movie from them called Krabat the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Interesting.
Wonder what this is about. Let's find out.
See you then.